Thank you very much for joining us to design an optimal hybrid renewable energy system. So today we will discuss the design of an renewable energy system. This may not be a single lecture, this may be a series of lecture that will cover the design of PV, wind, biomass and other renewable energy systems along with the combination of biomass, a DG, it may be on grid and off grid. We will discuss all the scenario in detail. So basically in this main lecture, this is an overview lecture and there will be series cascading lectures. So in this specific lecture we will develop the mathematical model of an PV, wind, biomass or DG energy systems with a battery bank to provide an electricity for an both an on-grid and off-grid. We will discuss both the scenarios. We will deduce the optimal size of an components used in the proposed hybrid system with the optimal LCOE, levelized cost of energy, by minimizing the net presence cost of the system by applying all the major global optimization techniques like particle swarm, genetic algorithm, differential evolution algorithm, artificial bee colony and other there may be different global optimization techniques. We will also simulate the systems. There will be also a series of lectures that will consist the simulation of a renewable hybrid system using the Homer, and then all the results will be compared with each other, the Homer with the PSO, the ABC and G and etc. So at the end we will observe the performance of the hybrid system in the critical cases such as failure of any generation unit, maybe the PV, the wind or the DG or whatever, etc. So again thank you to my channel, Electrical and Control channel. We are specially deal in the electrical research simulations, mostly to the optimization of the power systems. So as I already discussed that this is not a single lecture, there may be series of hybrid renewable systems. So for complete design you should see the hybrid renewable system design playlist of my YouTube channel. So we will be gonna discussing the different global optimization techniques like PSO, ABC, ABB, ADE, and the Homer simulation we will discuss in detail later on in the upcoming lectures. So this was a basic intro of our series of lectures. What we will be discussing, what we will be designing, and we will also discuss the design of an hybrid renewable energy system using the Homer. So the basic structure of our hybrid renewable energy system will be like this, as shown in this figure. So here is a DC bus, in the other side this is a generic and diagram of an hybrid renewable energy system, and there is a second bus, this is AC bus. The DC bus will be connected to the PU modules. There may be battery banks, there may be an charge controller having an inverter and converter. So a bidirectional converter, it will also be charging these battery banks, and also when there is a need of an energy and the battery bank has sufficient energy, then it will be inverting the DC into DC, etc. And this is the dual converter that will be converting AC and DC to each other. Charge control only controlling these battery banks, the charge of these battery banks, and there may be a dump load, maybe an pumping station in case of an off-grid, because in an off-grid there is necessary, if you have a dump load, deferable load, it will be very beneficial. We will discuss this issue later on. So there may be electrical grid, utility grid, you can also, it may be connected off-grid and on-grid. We will discuss both the cases. Both the off-grid and the on-grid, there is electrical load and there is a biomass gasifier. There may be DG instead of this biomass. So consider it whether in a conventional system, maybe it may be a DG or maybe a biomass, a gasifier, whatever you need, it may be placed here. And the other thing that is connected to the AC bus is the wind turbine, because the output of an wind turbine is always AC, this is not DC, so it's connected to the AC bus. Inside and in between those AC and DC buses there is a dual converter having both converter and inverter. So let's discuss an research paper that will be our main paper. This is our main research paper that we will be discussing. This is an elsewhere published research paper. We will simulate this research paper and we will also discuss some other scenarios of this paper because this is an off-grid system. So we will also be discussing an grid connected system, and later on we will also be discussing the Homer simulations to verify all of our modeling and simulations. So basically in this research paper we have an PV system, wind, biomass and battery storage system. So our hybrid system consists of all these. We will be optimizing the size of an wind, the size of a PV and the size of an battery storage system. So let's discuss the individual modeling of an individual component. So the modeling of the solar photovoltaic panel is given, the output power will be given by rated power. This is the F loss is the derating factor. There may be 0.8, 0.88, 0.9 and whatever depending on the model of the PV module. And the GH is the solar irradiation of that locality or location where for which you want to design that hybrid renewable energy system. The GS is 1000 watt per meter square. This is the standard incident radiation constant. So in this equation the effect of temperature is not taken, but we will also discuss the effect of this temperature and we will consider it in our simulations. And the second thing is the wind power modeling. So for wind power you have to discuss the PV curve is given here by these equations. So there are 2 or 3 parameters of the velocity. You should consider the wind velocity, that is the key velocity cut in and velocity cut out, the velocity V rated velocity of that wind turbine. So whenever the velocity is below the cut in speed or above the cut out, then the output of the wind turbine will be 0. And whenever the wind turbine velocity, wind velocity is above than rated but below than V cut out, then the output of this wind turbine will be constant rated power. And else when the velocity of the wind is in between the VACN and the rated, then it will follow this linear modeling. We will also discuss the cubical modeling and later on we will discuss the curve fitting. That's most favorable when you use the PV, the power wind curve of an AWS or whatever practically wind turbine when you are using then practical turbines at specific locations and you want to exact simulation, then you use, instead of these PV curves linear or cubical, then you use curve fitting. We will also discuss this, how how to use that curve fitting to match the PV characteristics of an model exactly to that of the data sheet of that practical wind model. So at specific height, at different height to that of standard hub height, if you are measuring the power, if you are changing the hub height, then the formula will be V rated velocity multiplied by wind turbine height and divided by height reference height and raised to power gamma. That's gamma is 1/7. So you can convert, this is the basically the conversion of an velocity, available velocity at specific height, and then you gonna to convert it to your hub height of this wind turbine is different. So you will use this equation to convert your wind given wind data to that specific height. This is the biomass gasifier. That energy will be given by this equation, and the power of this biomass gasifier will be given by this total biomass available in tons per year multiplied by 1000, and this is the calorific value, and the efficiency of this biomass gasifier divided by the 365,860 and operating hours per day. So that will be the output of an biomass gasifier. So the next thing is the battery bank. The battery bank SOC is very important because the depth of discharge matters when you design an hybrid renewable energy systems, because there may be certain constraints on this depth of discharge. There may be upper limits and lower limits, and the last one of this battery bank is the charging and discharging, means the converter and the inverter efficiency and the round trip efficiency. Round trip efficiency includes both the charging and discharging. If you combine both these things, then it will be considered this given by this equation. Whenever you purchase a specific battery, and the manufacturer of that battery gives you the round trip efficiency, we will be using this round trip efficiency in our simulations to matching the theoretical simulations to that practical ones. This is the formula for the amperes of batteries. This is the formula for connecting the batteries in series and parallel. They are totally based on your load demand. This is the operational strategy, but before discussing this, let's discuss the flow chart. In this flow chart, if you see that, first of all we will calculate the PV power and the wind power. These will be calculated from the previous models as we have given both the temperature and the solar irradiation, so we will be able to calculate the PPV. And similarly we have wind at that constant, at that height, at that hub height. By converting that reference as from the previous equation, by converting that one to that reference hub height, and we will also have a load at each hour. So you should keep in mind that this flow chart will be running each hour, not once. It will be each hour throughout the year. If you have a yearly simulation, 2 year simulation, then it will be running for 2 hours, 2 years, and similarly for 3 years. If your simulation is a 15-minute interval, then it will be running after each 15 minutes. If your simulation is half hourly basis, then it will be simulating after each half hour. But we will main of the research papers focus on hourly simulations. So there are 8760 hours in an year. So there will be for loop that will be simulating all this scenario, all this flow chart 8760 times. So first of all, it will be starting in each iteration. We will have at that specific time, we will have a wind turbine output and the PV's output and load. So if PV and wind turbine is greater than load, let me zoom it. So So if the wind turbine and the wind power and the PV power is greater than load, then what should we do? It means the sufficient power have available, so we should charge the battery. So sufficient power is available, then we will be calculating the extra charge that will be used for charging the battery, or if you are connected to the grid, then it will be sold to the grid. So first of all, we will comparing that whether the load is lower than wind turbine power or greater. So actually the purpose of this comparing is whether we want to discuss that along the wind power is sufficient to meet the load demand or not. If it is sufficient, if it is not sufficient, if wind is less than load, then we will discuss here. So it means that along wind is not sufficient to meet the load demand, so we will also be discharging, we will be also be extracting some power from the PV. So the battery power will be provided, there will be provided to the for charging the battery will be given to is equal to power of the PV minus that the deficient power, load minus P wind, that is the inverter efficiency, that will be as this is the DC power, so we will be dividing this by inverter efficiency. So subtracting the deficient amount of this deficient amount from this solar PV, so that will be provided to the battery. So again we will be checking the SOC of the battery. If it's above than maximum, if the SOC of the battery is greater than SOC, so SOC should be limited to the maximum amount, and the extra energy will be to the deferable load, or it will be dumped. The next scenario is when the load is sufficient, the wind power is sufficient to meet the load demand. In that case, the PV will be directly added to the battery, and this difference, the whatever it provided to the PV PW minus P load, the remaining part, that will be the extra energy. By after passing through the rectifier, then it will be stored in the battery. It will be stored in the battery. So that will be the battery energy. Again we will be checking the SOC of the battery, and if it's more than the upper limit, then it will be battery will be set to the upper SOC, and the extra energy will be dumped. So let's discuss the other scenario when the wind and the PV energy is not sufficient to meet the load demand. Then we will, in this case, that the PV and the wind turbine energy is not sufficient to meet the load demand. So in this case we will be checking the battery, the SOC of the battery. So in this case we need that the energy stored in the battery will be provided to the load. So we will checking the battery. If SOC is greater than minimum state of charge of an, so minimum state of an charge of an battery, it's above that minimum level, then we will be drawing the power from the battery, and we will be calculating the battery power as P load, whatever met by the wind turbine and whatever met by the PV, the remaining energy will be provided by the battery. So again we will be comparing whether that battery was whether it was below the, if it was the deficient power is provided to the load by this battery. We are checking that if the battery energy is below the zero, means the battery was more discharged than the lower limit. We will be checking this. So if it is not, if it's true, if it's yes, then it means that the battery has sufficient energy, that it was able to provide that deficient amount that could not met by this wind and PV. So that deficient amount, if it is after drawing the power from that battery, and the battery power is again greater than zero, So if it is true, then it means stop biomass, do not run the biomass and DGA, whatever you want to. You can insert in this biomass, you can whatever a conventional source or DG or whatever. So stop this. If you are connected to the grid, so in this case, in this instead of starting the biomass, here will your grid, you will be drawing your energy, the deficient amount of energy that could not met by the PV, wind and the battery, and the extra deficient amount will be drawn from the grid. So in this case we are off grid, so we will be drawing either from the biomass or from the DG, whatever connected to our system. So after drawing that energy and drawing that energy from the battery, so battery was not sufficient energy to meet that load demand, deficient load demand. So we will be starting that biomass and DG whatever, and we will be here calculating that what should be the power that should be taken from that that will be taken from that biomass and DG and whatever etc. we have. That was the main chart. So that we will discussing. So here is the operational strategy again written in theory, that these are the same things. In the first case, when you have this is the case, when the total power produced by the solar panel and the wind is sufficient and the wind power is less than the load. So this formula will be used. The maximum amount will be met by the wind, and the remaining power, the remaining deficient amount, P load minus P wind, and that deficient divided by that inverter conversion efficiency, that will be met from this PV, and that the extra energy will be stored in the battery. So you should keep in mind the PV is not a single, this is the number of solar panels that will be selected by the optimization algorithm. And similarly, the wind energy will not be a single unit. It will be a number of modules, wind turbines, and this number of wind turbine will be definitely selected by an optimization algorithm. So in case only the wind is sufficient, that means the wind energy is more than the load. So the wind is only sufficient, solely the wind is sufficient to meet that load demand. So in this case, the energy that will be provided to the battery will be equal to the wind minus load after passing through the rectifier and adding to the PV will be provided to the battery bank. And again we will be measuring the SOC of the battery. If it is more than upper limit, then it will be definitely deferred or deferable load, or it will be dumped. So the last case, this is the discharging point, discharging. So again, as earlier forget to mention in this thing, there are the two portions. This one is the charging, this portion, this right side, if the PV and the wind power is greater than load, then it will be, this will be the totally the charging of the battery. This portion is the charging of the battery, and this side is the discharging of the battery. This side is the discharging of a battery, and if the battery was not able to meet the load demand, then you can take the power from the grid if you are grid connected. If you are off grid, you can draw the power from the DG and biomass. If you don't connect, if you don't have in the DG or whatever, so you should increase the number of PVs and PW, so you should meet the load demand. So this equation is for the discharging of battery. So if your PV and wind turbine was not able to meet the load demand, sorry, this one. So in that case, are not generating the FT, then the battery will be providing the deficient amount of power, and that's the energy that will be provided by the biomass, and that's equal to P load minus P wind minus PV. That will be that energy should be provided by the biomass if the battery was not able to meet the load demand. So if the battery was sufficient capacity to meet the load demand, then that power should be provided by these equations, that load minus wind after passing that to the inverter portion factor and subtracting from the PV, that amount will be provided by the battery if battery has sufficient amount of power. So these are the equations of an operational strategy of optimization technique of this hybrid renewable energy system. These equations for this time may not be clear to you, so I am requesting you to please first read this research paper with this title. So please first go through this research paper, then see this lecture, and you don't need to worry, because we will be later on we will be discussing all these things and all these operational strategy, charging and discharging, whatever off grid or grid, in a detail in a series of lectures. Then it will be clear to you, because in this main overview, this is a main overview lecture, so we are going through it in a very fast way, so it may not be clear to you as later on. So all these things, all these equations and all these operational strategies will be clear to you, and this is the battery charging in all these scenarios when the wind power is non sufficient to meet the load demand, when both the PVs and the wind turbines are sufficient to meet the load demand. So all these scenarios will be clear to you, so you don't need to worry. So you should focus on the main overview. So the next thing is the calculation, cost calculation. So how the main thing of this, the fitness function of this hybrid renewable energy system. So you should keep in mind that for off grid, this the research paper is based on the off grid system. So for off grid, you should keep in mind that your fitness function will be the ASC. ASC will be your fitness function. So you will be minimizing the annual system cost of any system, because in an off grid system your load is fixed. So the LCOE is simply dividing this annual system cost divided by this total useful energy system served in the year. So in this planned year, this for your planned load, this will be constant, the lower one. So it doesn't matter whether you optimize this ASC or you optimize this LCOE. So both cases are, whether you optimize this LCOE or you optimize this ASC, annualized system cost. But most of the people favor this ASC in off grid system, because this is a larger amount, so you give a more resolution compared to the LCOE. This is a very small value. But in grid connected system, you should keep in mind that you can't use this as an optimization fitness, because at that case you are providing energy to the grid. So you will be your optimal, your fitness function will be the LCOE. You should only use this LCOE in case of grid connected systems, because in that case that your energy served will not be constant. You will be you will also be providing energy to the grid. So you should, in that case, your fitness function will be LCOE. That you should keep in mind. So in this case, our annual system cost is our fitness function in this off grid system, and that will equal to the number of solar cost, wind turbine cost, battery cost, inverter cost, and biomass or DG, whatever your cost is, that's your total cost. And solar is number of solar modules, and wind is number of wind modules, number of battery units, power of the inverter, power of the DG or biomass, whatever you have, and these individual cost factors are calculated here. and these include the capital costs, replacement costs, operation and maintenance costs, and then salvage cost. So all these modules have this one. So after calculating this cost factor of solar, wind, biomass, and then you can get the annual recovery factor. So capacity recovery factor, that's given by this one. What's the importance of this capital recovery factor? The importance of this capital recovery factor is when your project life is 20 years, for 25 years, and your interest is I is your interest rate, and N is the number of is the life years in years of your project, and I is the interest rate. So for a specific years, for 20 years, that will give you annual portion, annual friction of that amount. So you have to pay the annually of that total net present cost of that system, because you have to also pay the loans, and you have to annualize, you have to rationalize that cost over 20 years, over the project life, whatever it has. And when you consider, so you will be calculating the capacity recovery factor, that will give you the annual factor, annual that will be paid annually, the annual portion of that total net. That's that cost will be the net present cost for whole life of that project. So you need to calculate here annualized system cost. So you will multiply these individual by and capital recovery factor. We will also discuss these in details while simulating. So in your simulations, there will be lower bounds and upper bounds, lower limits and upper bounds on each solar one, the wind turbines, and the battery units, and the capacity of an DG and a biomass, whatever the lower and the upper one. And the last one is on the SOC of your battery. There will be a minimum depth of discharge and maximum. Mostly the SOC, the maximum is 100%, and the lower one is maybe 20% or 30%. It may be higher depending on your requirement. And finally, as I already discussed, the levelized cost of energy can be calculated as per ASC divided by total energy served. So here the artificial B algorithm is discussed. We will discuss it later on, and we also discuss the PSO. We'll also discuss the GA and whatever in a series of lectures. So the results here is shown that the load that is served, this is the weekly plot. Sorry, that's the annual plot. This one, this is the daily load profile, and this is the wind profile over a year. 8760 is the number of hours in a year, and this is the load data, and this is the cost factors and economic and technical data of that components used in our hybrid system. So that's the iterations and size of PSO and ABC comparison. So if we see the results of all these these three simulations, so the Homer has a levelized cost of energy as 0.181. The PSO has 0.176, and the ABC has a levelized cost of energy, if using the ABC algorithm, that's 0.173. So in this specific case, the ABC has the most favorable, has very good efficiency. So the design of the PSO and the ABC is almost near each other. So you can also that levelized cost of energy in case of PSO and ABC is very close to each other, and the cost of using the Homer is a little bit high. So Homer selecting 280 PV units, 18 wind turbines, 50 kilowatt biomass, batteries of 1200, and inverter of 115 inverter will be same for all the three cases, they will be fixed. So running of biomass and annualized system cost, net present cost and levelized cost of energy. Similarly for PSO it's 251, 20 and 43 kilowatt, battery is 1400 in both the cases, and almost this is 35 and this is the 10 hours running of that, and this cost is almost near each other as the SCOE of both these also very close. So the PSO and the ABC has very close solution to each other. That is a very close, this one and this one has very close solution to each other, and this is the convergence of that ABC and the PSO. Almost the convergence of the PSO and the also same, but ABC is a little superior in this specific case compared to the PSO. So overall, comparing all these three cases, the most favorable solution in this case is the ABC, and the different amount of energy and battery in out biomass whenever production per year is given this table. The ABC design is the most optimal one. Different graphs of the energy in out monthly plot of energy analysis of in out the battery, wind, surplus, demand, battery, whatever different charts are given here. So again a weekly plot is given here, and this is the solar energy and the battery out discharged, biomass energy provided by the biomass, and wind energy generated, that's the load and the SOC of the battery. The load is given by the dotted point, and you can see this always either below the solar or below the wind, or it's below the battery out. So in this specific case you can see that no solar is available, wind is also very low. So in this case this load is met by this battery discharge. So battery is discharge, battery providing, battery has sufficient power. So as in this case you can met it here. So it has a 55% SOC, so it can provide the power in this case. So after providing the energy, it's above the 50% SOC. So it's providing energy to the load. So it has sufficient energy. So in this case, the renewable is sufficient, the PV is sufficient to meet the load demand, and in this case this one, the solar again very peak, it's providing the energy to the load. So whenever the peak is there, solar peak is there, you can see, and it's above the load demand, you can see that the SOC of the battery is increasing. The SOC of the battery is increasing. At this point when the battery is at, the battery SOC is at minimum. It's, if you see here, it's at minimum 30%. So allowable discharge of the battery in this case is 70%. So the red one is the starting of a biomass. So this is the most critical condition, when the PV and the wind is not available and the battery is not sufficient to meet the load demand. So we are starting the biomass. So that biomass is operating, meeting the load demand. So in this case, so the red one, again in this case the battery SOC is below the threshold limit, wind and solar is not available, so the load is again met by this biomass. So again this is the only weekly plot of that, the first week plot of an annual data. So there may be other cases when the load is not being met by the wind and the PV, and even by the battery is not able to meet the load demand, so the biomass will be there to meet the load demand. There are all the other plots of that wind, battery out, weekly SOC, different plots and combination can be plotted to analyze the system. That's the energy in out of the batteries throughout the complete the year. So the battery in will be a little bit more compared to the battery out, because there is a round trip efficiency of almost 90% to 10% will be the battery loss. So you can see in this case the battery, if you integrate this one, the battery in will be a little bit more compared to this one. This is a congested one. You can see this is a congested one available for more hours, but this is not the congested one, the red one. So the separate distance, if you zoom it, you will be see it that the area under the curve of this the battery in will be more compared to this one, as there are 10% of most round trip efficiency loss of the battery. So there are the other plots, the weekly plots of that, demand, solar, whatever, etc. You can plot. This is LCOE plot. So this is the last thing, that the LCOE of the system is dependent on the round trip efficiency. You can plot the round trip efficiency against the LCOE. So you can see that when the round trip efficiency is increasing from 0.75 to 95%, then the LCOE, levelized cost of energy, is going to decrease, because less number of energy units will be required. So if your round trip efficiency is decreasing, so the battery is wasting in this case 25%. In your round trip efficiency is 0.75, this means that your 25% energy is lost. So in this case more energy units will be required. So as 25% energy is wasting, so your LCOE will be almost 0.225. But in this case, when your energy is 95% efficient, only 5% is wasting, then in this case your LCOE is almost near to 0.18. So that this system, this plot shows the dependence. We will also later on plot this one. We will analyze it, and for the last, just to give an overview of, let's just have a look of our code. This is the differential algorithm code that we have developed for the hybrid design energy system, and this is the for plotting section of our hybrid renewable systems. And just have a look of some graphs, SOC of the battery, and battery bank, some plots of the load, battery discharging, total generated power, and this is the load, battery out. This is keep in mind, this is a different system from that given in that research paper, so the graphs will be little bit different. So the next one, the load, battery charging, and the total power generated, and battery discharge, and battery charging and discharging, and some other plots. It's the wind and load, and etc. etc. So we will be discussing all these things in detail later on, and thank you very much. Keep watching our channel for for detailed design of this hybrid renewable energy system using different optimization techniques. We especially deal in optimization techniques of an power system. So keep watching this channel. We again will meet you in the next lecture. Thank you again. Thank you.